Welcome. Not to be taken too seriously, but I thought we can have a different view on how we present timelines to our projects, maybe to de-dramatize a bit the bad news. Now, our starting point is tasks and deadlines. Now, we would like to add 2 tasks on top and below. On top, we just remove 14 days, and below, we just add 14 days. You'll understand later why we do this. And then we add some numbers, 0 for the top and the bottom, and 1, -1 alternating for the others. This will help us when we want to build our chart. We select those 2 columns, the dates and those 1, -1, and we insert a chart. So this is what it looks like. So this is our starting point. First thing we want to do is we want to add data labels. So for the moment doesn't give us much, give us just 1, -1. What we need to do next is to format the data labels. We don't want to have those values. Instead, we want to have the value from some cells, and the cells are the actually task themselves. So what we can do now is we remove the value, and therefore you only have the task name here, there. Another option is to have both of them, and we'll see the 2 options there. Is you insert a new line and you have the category name as well, and the category name is the date. So this is how you have both here. So I like it this way, but we'll show also the other way. Now what we can do to make the task clearer, we put a solid fill and we play with the font colors, for instance a blue background and a white font. What we can do now, as it looks a bit squashed, we go into our chart axis options. So we give a low min and a high max. So 3 could work, but I want to go even farther than that. So I give -5 for the minimum and 5 for the maximum. Next step is I can change the chart title. Let's say project implementation. Just to tell you that we have some connection with the real life a little bit here. And then what I do is I click on the grid and I remove them. So be careful, do not remove the chart. I often say that, but just be mindful that you only want to remove the grids. What we want to do next is we have the choice, as I was saying, to either have the deadline with the box of the task name, or we can just remove them and just leave the time frame below. So to remove them, it's easy. You just remove the category name, and here you go. And now you can see why I've added 14 and 14 days. So that gives us more space on the side. Otherwise, the chart would have started right from the first task. Now I'm creating another data set just to put the exact date. So in order to do this, I only put 0. I just put 1 with 2. Otherwise, we won't be able to select it. It will be all on the axis. And then same thing. I right click, format data labels, and select a range. And as a range, what I put the deadline here. I can remove the axis itself because we will be using this just to show the dates. I mean, you could leave it, but it will be a bit crowded. Right click, format data label, I remove the values as we did before, so we only have the date here. And we play around, do we want it inside, outside, center. So obviously the one with 2 will go, so it doesn't really matter. We can remove the first and the last. This is something that we don't really need. We don't want to show that if we go through this option. And then we put everything back to 0. So this is it. So this is you have the date here, you have the tasks. This is more or less taking shape. This is a skeleton. So we can still play around with the data labels. There are other ways to doing this, but for the moment I am doing it manually just to show you. Now what we want to do is to format the chart area. So when we right click on it and we get to this, we have the choice of different ways to fill the chart. So here I'm going to go and picture option. As I already had something in my clipboard, the image is directly put as a background. But let's say I didn't have any picture here. I would just go to, if you have 365, you go to insert image and you take it from the image stock. Otherwise, you can take any picture you like on your computer and then you can import it there. Then you choose something. What I like to do is to put something with the horizon. So there is a line, there is a line in the center, and then you can put your chart at this level there. Or anything black, blue will go. Like for instance, I like this one because it's quite darkish. So that's it. So once it's done, and after you do some formatting, let's say here I just want to put more the font in white. And then what I'm doing here on the left hand side, I'm just deleting the axis. We don't really need this. Now what I'm doing now is I'm inserting an arrow. I think this is the best way I found, just to have something very clear in the center, just to tell people that this is the way we're going right. And a big fat white arrow does the trick. So I just put a wide arrow and then I put some dots into it so it's a little bit clearer. Now you can see that it works. If I change the date, it changes here as well. Another thing you can do is you can, let's say I've imported that other photo here with a horizon line. It's not really in line, so what I do is you go to format the chart area once again and you play with the offset top and bottom, so this way you can play around and you can put the horizon line just in the center like this. Now I formatted that a little bit differently. I still need to go back and put the horizon line okay, but what you can do is you can insert icons. So this is to allow maybe the 7-year-old to enjoy the chart as well. So here, for instance, I want to put a boat on the horizon line. You take a different, that is, just drop it on top of the chart. You put it on the horizon line here. So obviously the sea, I will have to put it back. I'll do that later on, and then you can play with this. You group all these, so it's all one object, and then after you can move the object around. So this is an icon. So what you can do is you can add a shadow, so it's a little bit more realistic, or maybe less. I don't know. You be the judge. Now, this is it. So this is more or less what you can do with this stuff. And then you can change things. For instance, you can do the rack status. I often talk about rack status, green, amber, or red. And if you want to show the adults this time, or which type of tasks are ahead, which type of tasks are late, or amber, so you can just change the red, the tasks in red. And this is it. So I've changed things a bit. I've just put it there. I'm still not happy with the color there, but that's something that you can do yourself. So I put the horizon line here. The idea of the boat is that this is more or less today's date, so it's quite visual for them. Let me know what you think. Is it a complete waste of time, or is it fun? I mean, maybe in a non-work environment that could be useful. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, because I'm coming up with a lot of stuff at the moment, and I will put them on YouTube.